Boy, this feels so funny to be back. After many failed attempts, we are finally back with episode 2 of On the Balcony with Jay. Yeah, the truck supports local, and I'm your host, Jaida Browne, and today we'll be talking about growing through it and going through it. But before we start, on that topic, I do want to say a huge thank you to everybody who watched episode 1, everybody who liked, commented, subscribed, followed my page, just all the support, saw me in person. I was like, where's episode 2? I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the reason I'm sitting here right now, just to know that people are like want to see the content, and the feedback I've gotten has been so great. So just I am grateful, and even if it's just 5 of you that watch my video, if it's 10 of you guys, I'm just thankful for all of you that have watched it, shared it, no matter what the case is. So I just want to say a huge big up yourself as always. And yeah, I mean, clearly I set the bar very high. I said I was going to do one a month. Clearly that wasn't realistic for me, so I'm going to dial it back and say every quarter I'll drop a video, and if I do more, great, but I'm not going to overshoot it too much, because clearly this has been a journey. I've learned so much, guys. And yeah, that's leading me to talk about the topic today, which is growing through it and going through it. Wow, I've been going through it in the past couple months. It's been a very rough time. I've learned so much about myself. Like, who would have thought? Like, I'm an adult now, and I think I've learned so much more about myself in the past 3 months than I've ever learned ever in my entire life. I thought I knew myself. Clearly I didn't. And it's just like life throws you so many curveballs sometimes, and you just kind of have to go with it, adapt with it, because life doesn't stop for anybody. Like, my world could be crashing today, but I have something to do in the next minute, and that's kind of how it works, So it got me thinking about how we show up for ourselves in these seasons of growth, and how we kind of process going through things. Like, a lot of times we have a lot of bad things happen to us, and it's like, woe is me, wow, I have the worst life ever. But like, have you ever thought that the thing that's that's making you go through it right now is actually growing you, or allowing you to shape and mold yourself into the better person or the person you're meant to be? So I've just been thinking about that recently, because the amount of things I've gone through, it's like, and the time span of which it's happened, it's just like, wow, that's a lot. Things that I probably would have never thought would happen this year happened this year, and it's just like, what is my response when I'm faced with adversity? What is my response when I'm faced with bad things happening? Like, am I just gonna fold and crush up myself and just like be so down bad that like I can't get up, or am I gonna actually strive and look at the situation, look at the positive side of the situation? And so just want to talk to you guys a bit about that today. Like, how are you growing through what you're going through? I think one of the biggest things that has come to mind during this whole season of me like going through it, it's like my internal dialogue. Like, what am I speaking to myself? Like, am I speaking positive things? Am I speaking negative things? And like, your whole mind, guys, I could get to know a whole episode about like the mind, but your internal dialogue matters. Like, what you say matters, what you say over yourself, what you speak into being. Like, all these things actually have like genuine impact. Like, if I say to myself every morning, wow, nothing's gonna work out for me, nothing's gonna work out for me, nothing's gonna work out for me, eventually I'm gonna believe it, because that's the repetition I feed my mind. If I don't feed my mind with positive reinforcements, right, it's kind of like you're gonna get stuck with the negative thinking. But if I start telling myself it's gonna work out for me, it's gonna happen for me, today is the day, like whatever the case is, and I keep that mentality, keep that going, that's going to be the thoughts. And every time I wake up this morning, or wake up in the morning, my first thought is not going to be, oh wow, another day I'm going to fail. It's going to be, oh, another day I have another opportunity to do the things I want to do, to reach for the stars, to get the things done, whatever the case may be. So the inner dialogue definitely is something you have to check. Like, what are you feeding yourself, what are you feeding your mind while you're going through these tough times? Especially like, what are you doing with your time? Are you just scrolling through TikTok, watching videos, doom scrolling all day, every day, distracting yourself from what's actually happening? Or actually, are you actually like facing it head on and like dealing with it as you should be? Because a lot of the times when we end up in situations that are just so rough and hard, we tend to self-soothe or like find another avenue to process and deal with the things. But ultimately, you only can escape so much until it catches up to you. There are so many seasons in life where you're going to encounter things that are wrong or bad that are happening, and it's like, how do you, I guess, put yourself in a better position to be able to handle these things and like build resilience, so you're not crushing every time something happens? Because it's natural. Like, naturally you will hear something you don't like or be with something you don't like, and your first response is just like to isolate or just not deal with it, drink too much, party too much, self-harm, whatever it is that is that vice that you go to when you have these struggles. It's just like, how can you healthily deal with these things? Everybody has a different way, right? Obviously, that is what it is. I'm a person that keep myself busy, okay? So I haven't done a podcast because I've been so busy. So I'm just a busy bee. I find everything to occupy my time except for addressing and dealing with the things head on. And I have to stop myself and be like, Jaida, what are you doing? Like, every second you don't deal with this, it gets worse. Like, it's the sooner you deal with this, the better. And so I started being intentional about that. And something interesting about being like in your 20s, or I guess I could say adulthood generally, and learning about yourself, it's like the responsibility is on you to fix the things that you don't like. So if I'm realizing things about myself that I'm not happy with, or like, wow, I wish I could change this, I wish this was different, whatever, it's my responsibility to get it sorted. Nobody's going to do it for me. I can't sit here and hope for a miracle that one day I'll change. Like, no, you have to change yourself. You have to be proactive about dealing with the things that affect you. And I think majority of the time when we go through situations that are just difficult, we tend to neglect ourselves in the process and just try to survive and cope. But the reality is, the more you neglect yourself and don't show up for yourself, the longer the impact is going to be for you. The longer it's going to be to take care of yourself out of that rut. And so even me recently, like, I started therapy. That's a big thing. I realized that there's areas in my life that I just wasn't necessarily healed in, or I just didn't process properly. And it's like, wow, I was just carrying all of this with me by myself, just stuffing it under the surface, expecting not to explode. And eventually I will. So I was just saying, nah, like, I have to deal with this properly. Like, I have to actually put in the steps to get my mind right, my mental right, and take care of myself, and like spend my time actually doing things that are going to pull me out of the rut instead of not, So that's number 2. So 1 was, can I remember number 1? What is your self-dialogue? What are you telling your mind? 2 is, how are you spending your time? And I 100% recommend everybody go to therapy, process your healing, do what you have to do. It is honestly very eye-opening, to say the least. So in order to grow through what you're going through, you have to change that perspective of, it's happening to me, and this is my third piece of advice, to actually becoming an active participant in your life, right? It's very hard to actively participate in your own life. Like, we just make life happen to us so often. Like, we just take it as it comes. We just, oh, wow, I did not pay my bill last month, and life happens to me. Like, oh, I never got the grade I wanted on the exam. It's just life happens to me. Like, how about we channel that life happens to me energy and use it towards like building those things that you don't want to happen to you again. So for example, if you don't want to get a bad grade again, right, and you just take it, oh, I got a bad grade, like, that's me. Nah, you're going to start studying your books so heavily so you can make sure that's never you again. You know what I mean? So just like actively participating in your life, actively taking the driver's seat and not allowing the life to just take you away and just to derail itself, and accepting things as they are. This is just how it is. This is how it has to be. Like, no, it doesn't have to be that way at all. You are in control of your own life. Like, come on now. Stand up. Properly stand up. Oh, I'm in a toxic relationship with my ex. Leave. Send this to your friend. Leave the boy, leave the girl. It's toxic. It's not good. You can actively participate in your life and get out of that situation. If it's stealing the joy from you, if it's sucking the life out of you, if it's really making you just unhappy, change it. It's not like we're helplessly stuck in these situations. Some situations, yes, you might be, but just generally speaking, as it relates to that. So in order to grow through it, right, sometimes it might look like standing up for yourself. Sometimes it might look like actually setting a boundary. Boundaries are so hard. We can do a whole other thing on that too, but actually setting a boundary and like sticking to that and holding yourself to a standard that you are like, okay, this is what I want and I'm not taking any less than that. So obviously when you're a teenager, you have your teenage ways or whatever, but as an adult you actively can control certain things that happen to you. Like, you don't have to just follow everything that people tell you to do or whatever. Like, you kind of have to have a mind of your own and get in that steering wheel and drive to the destination you want to, because it's your life. Period. That's it. Like, full stop. So yeah, as we journey and go through it, we're going to grow through it. And I think it really has to start with that mentality shift that you are going to grow. Life is not going to be easy. Things are going to happen that you might not be happy with. Things are going to happen with, your friendships, your relationships, your family, your friends, your job, like whatever category it falls under. Nobody is exempt in this life from bad things happening to them. So we really have to channel that. How can I grow through this situation? What is this season teaching me? What am I learning from being in this position? How can I improve myself for the next time I have to deal with something like this? And it's interesting because for work, I do talk to a lot of older people. I'm like the youngest in my company, one of the youngest people. And one of the things that my clients always tell me is just like, oh, Jaida, you have such a great composure, like for your age, like you just hold it together so well, you know, you just have that, you're just calm, you're just chill. And I'm just like, this is just so funny to me because had I not gone through all these situations in my life and like learned not to be super reactive about these things, I probably would not be so composed. Like it really is something I had to learn and practice. And I think all these skills like boundaries, discipline, you know, things that like affect your day-to-day, it starts by just practicing them over time, little over little, like you'll get better at it. So if it starts by just telling your friend, no, I actually don't want Wendy's, I want Devon House ice cream, for example, you know, that's somewhere you could start. Like stand up for yourself in those small little ways, grow, you know, evolve. Don't stay stuck in the person you were 10 years ago just because that's comfortable for you. Sometimes you have to shed, you have to let go of that person that you were 10 years ago in order to step into this new chapter of your life. And it might look like releasing old friends, releasing old habits, just like things that keep you stuck where you were. And it's not going to be an easy feat, but it really does at the end of the day turn out better for you. And I think that's ultimately what I want for all of you guys that are watching this video. Like, how are we living in a way that we are promoting growth in these situations that we are processing and dealing with? And again, by no means is it easy, but just want you guys to look on the flip side. Like, how can you come out of this with a better story? How can you come out of these situations with a smile on your face? How can you come out of these situations with something to give thanks about, you know? We know that these times are very tough and challenging. Like, obviously, I don't want to be paying so much money for gas in my gas tank, but what am I learning? I can stay home sometimes. What am I learning? Oh, I can actually stay on my balcony today and film a podcast episode instead of leaving my hill to go look for a friend and, you know, go get food or whatever the case may be. So these are the little things that you can like start doing and shifting your perspective as we like grow and age and just have different things happen to us in life. You know, we really want to try to get that adaptability early. I think that probably would be one of the biggest benefits you can give yourself. Don't ever say this is the way it has to be. Don't ever say this is final, whatever the case is. Like, we're growing, okay? We're growing and we're going to constantly evolve and constantly change. So we're going to grow through it while we go through it, right? This is a message to all of us here. I honestly just gone through so much, guys. And I think of it all, just looking back, I'm just like, I'm grateful because now I'm in a position where I'm actively able to address the things that I would want and fix and move forward with and just have a smile on my face through it all, because it's not a curse. It's like a blessing that all these things have happened, you know? It's for the greater good. Like, I am now on a path where I'm just like, wow, I would have never addressed these issues. I'd have never known that this was happening until I did a rain check and like looked at what was happening with me internally. So make sure you guys take care of yourself. Make sure you check what your mental is, what you're saying to yourself, check what you're doing with your time and all these things, because you know the best thing you could do for yourself as you're going through it is to grow through it and actually be proactive about that. Not making the experience shape you, but you shaping the experience while you're going through it. You making it into something that's worth going through and worth your while. And of course, all situations are different. Everything is, you know, not everybody has the same situation dealing with, and some stuff are super serious. But I do hope that ultimately, at the end of the day, you guys come out of whatever it is stronger, better, improved, happier, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys have a lovely day and stay tuned for episode 2 of On the Balcony with Jay. Love you guys. Chai, have anything you want to say? That's a wrap. Wait, no, that's not a wrap. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, and stay tuned. Thank you guys for the support again, and I look forward to seeing you soon.